For years I thought the question was, what can I do with a puppet? But eventually I realized I was asking the wrong question. The better question was, what can a puppet make easier, safer, or more inviting for a child? Because a puppet doesn't become useful by doing exactly what I do. It becomes useful because it can take a completely different position with a child. I'm Helen Meurs, and for the past 30 years I've been exploring what helps children join in, communicate and speak, and how we can make the contact between a child and us adults feel safer. I first began to understand this with Doki, the puppet I started with. They asked for him. They told him things they didn't tell me. Sometimes they were willing to try something with Doki that they were reluctant to try with me. At first I thought, Doki is simply very good at connecting with these children. But gradually I realized something more important was happening. He occupied a different position. As the adult and the professional, I might know exactly what I want a child to practice. But when I ask them to do it, the child can hear something I never intended to say. Show me whether you can do this. Show me whether you know the answer. Show me whether you can get it right. And suddenly there is something at stake. What if I don't know? What if I get it wrong? What if I disappoint you? A puppet can approach exactly the same situation from somewhere else. I'm not sure either. Can you help me? Shall we figure it out together? Same child, same thing to practice, same goal, but a completely different position. I want to tell you about Mike. Mike had recently immigrated and was still learning the language. He was unsure about his pronunciation and which words to use. So practicing words out loud with me didn't feel particularly safe. So instead of asking Mike to practice them with me, Doki asked,
I don't know if I know all of these. Maybe we can figure them out together.
And suddenly the situation changed. The words were exactly the same. The learning goal was exactly the same. Practicing became playing with words. And the pressure dropped. The puppet doesn't necessarily change what I want to do. It can change how the child experiences it. I stopped asking, when can I use my puppet? And started asking, who can do this better, me or the puppet? And suddenly I saw possibilities everywhere. I can introduce a book. Or my puppet can become fascinated by something on the cover and want to know what's inside. I can explain what children can do with the material. Or my puppet can become curious about it, start exploring and make the children curious too. I can ask a child to practice a difficult word. Or my puppet can need help saying it. I can suggest a game, or my puppet can desperately want to try it. I can ask a child what's wrong, but sometimes a puppet can do more, can simply sit beside them and listen. The goal is still mine. I'm still the professional, but I now have another way of approaching that goal. And that's when the puppet stopped feeling like an extra activity in my work. It became part of the way I worked. But there is a catch. A puppet can't suddenly become a child's safe friend because you needed to practice vocabulary on Tuesday morning. The relationship has to come first. Children need time to get to know the puppet. What are they like? Who is this? What do they enjoy? Are they coming back? They need ordinary moments together. Little conversations, questions, things that aren't about learning or achieving anything. And the puppet needs to come back. Not necessarily all day, every day, but consistently enough for a relationship to develop. And there's another side to that first period that's easy to overlook. You need it too. While the children are getting to know your puppet, you're getting to know your puppet as well. You become more comfortable having them on your hands. You discover how they respond, what kind of words sound natural coming from them, what children respond to, what feels right and what doesn't. You don't need to know everything about your puppet before you begin. Part of the character develops because you start using them, and gradually something else becomes possible. Your puppet can have a little plan, bring something along, become curious about something, need help, make a mistake, discover something, want to try something. And those little plans give children a reason to respond. Not because you've told them they have to participate, but because something is happening that they might want to be part of. That distinction matters enormously to me, because my goal isn't simply to get a child to comply with an activity. I want to create a situation that feels safe and inviting enough for the child to choose to join in. Looking back, I can see a very clear progression. First, the puppet simply becomes someone the children can get to know. They begin to recognize them, respond to them, and build a relationship. Then the puppet can start having little plans, become curious, need help, try things, make mistakes, discover. And from there, the puppet can gradually become another way into participation, communication, and practice. Not by replacing you, and not by becoming a teacher with a furry face, but by offering something you, as the adult, cannot always offer from your position. That's why I don't see learning to work with a puppet as learning another activity. You are adding another possibility to your professional toolkit. Now you can also ask yourself, would this child be more willing to join in if this came from the puppet instead of me? And sometimes the answer will be no. Sometimes you are exactly the person who should do it. But sometimes the puppet can create an opening you didn't have before. So, after 30 years of working with puppets, I don't think the most useful question is, what can I do with a puppet? I think the more interesting question is, what becomes possible for this child because the puppet is here? Maybe they dare to speak. Maybe they dare to make a mistake. Maybe they become curious enough to join in. Maybe they help the puppet with something they wouldn't have wanted to practice with you. Or maybe they tell the puppet something they weren't ready to tell any adult yet. That's the space I'm interested in. Not what the puppet can perform, but what the puppet can make possible between you and a child. If you're thinking, I can see how this could help the children I work with, but I have no idea how to create that kind of relationship with a puppet, that's something I can help you with. I've created a short email series that starts right at the beginning. Which puppet suits you? What does your puppet need before meeting the children? How do you introduce them? And how do you gradually move from simply getting to know each other to using your puppet more intentionally in your work? You will find the link below. And you don't need to become a puppeteer first. You can learn this step by step.